I want to bring back HLN's legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson and criminal defense attorney Heather Hansen. Heather, let me start with you. How long for that plea will she spend in prison?
It's a federal case because it happened in a federal park. So it's federal sentencing guidelines. They're complicated. It's 580 pages. It looks like somewhere from 19 to 25 years.
Nothing less than 19, though?
It should not be anything less than 19.
And federal case, you usually serve just about all of the sentences you're given. You don't get a whole lot of good time.
Absolutely. It's the exact opposite of what we were talking about before with judges' discretion. They don't have a lot of discretion. They can't suspend sentences. They can't put in parole. She is serving time, but she just traded it for a life sentence for something lesser.
She did.
So, and here's the weird thing. I think a lot of people wonder, well, wait, on the 11th hour during a trial, you can just do that? And in fact, it happens quite often.
It really does. And I think a lot of times judges facilitate that. They might say to the defense counsel, you know what? If your client gets convicted, it's a life sentence, and say to the prosecutor, this isn't really a first-degree murder trial, is it? And so ultimately not suggesting it happened here. We don't know what happened, but, you know, it's about doing justice. And everybody has exposure and a risk. The prosecution wants first-degree murder conviction. They may not get it. If the defendant gets convicted of it, they get life. And so you don't want to take the chance, and you want to do justice for the victim and the victim's family. And second-degree murder apparently was justice here.
That's the other benefit here. The family got to hear her say, I did it, I'm guilty. And I think that that is something that the prosecution can't take lightly. It's a really important thing for the family to be able to hear.
It's big. And you know what? Although the statute and the guidelines notwithstanding, the second-degree murder statute itself says she could still spend up to life in jail.
So that's still hanging out there.
That's still hanging in the balance.
So come back.
I doubt that will happen, but it's a possibility.
At least the two of you have to come back in March.
That's right.
To address the
We'll talk about the sentence.
You'll be here a lot more.
I'm sure there'll be a lot more to discuss prior to that. Right?
In fact, you got to come back in about 3 minutes because I got a Rob Ford moment. You up for Rob Ford?
Not again.
I'm sorry to announce.
I can't get enough of Rob Ford.
You can't go a couple of days without a Rob Ford story, so you're going to be back on that.
Amazing.
Toronto mayor. Just the gift that keeps giving, so to speak. Speaking of gifts, I'm sure you got some holiday shopping, some parties.